talkSPORT Cricket super over after the first ODI between Sri Lanka and England. Sri Lanka coming away with a 19-run victory here in Colombo. Scott Taylor alongside Steve Harmison. Stephen, that was very formal, yes, but how do we start off? What a game of 50-over cricket, first of all.
Yeah, very formal. I've taken my formal attire off as well, so yeah, I thought that was going to be my first delivery, but no. It was a good game of cricket, it really was. I enjoyed it. I've been away from the commentary since the summer. I enjoyed commentating on that game. I think it was typical subcontinent game where the game went fast forward. It passages at the end once there was when wickets fell, but there were some quiet passages which I think England weren't far off. No. I think that's the big thing. England have lost. England haven't batted 50 overs again, but I don't think they were that far off. I think the biggest thing for me now is if you want to evaluate where England probably did come short, I think the first thing I'd be looking at is possibly the balance of the England side.
In terms of the lack of death bowler, we saw Jamie having to do that. He's not an opening bowler in ODI cricket. He did that as well. He came in at the death. And hindsight's a wonderful thing. You say if it went for 12 or it could be a lot closer, but that lack of death bowler?
The lack of death bowler, I think the one player at the top, too many. Will Jacks pulling out last minute possibly didn't help, but I think even Will Jacks batting at number 7, I think having that bits and pieces all round it in Jacks and utilise them at the top of the order might be England's best option. And that then frees up to get a frontline seam bowler in there. We are in a part of the world where spin is dominant, and spin has played a huge part in this game. But if you go in with two seamers who you're trying to give depth to the batting and they're not suited in the roles which are key, i.e. power play overs and death overs, you're running the risk of saying, right, we are happy to concede an extra 20 runs because of the batting depth that we've got. And at the end of the day, that 15, 20 runs has probably cost them the game.
Our second delivery of the super over, I think, goes to Ben Duckett. He's been out of form throughout the Ashes, or maybe since India last year, really. But although scratchy at the start, he battled in those conditions. And I think he needed that 60-odd just to get in the runs, get some confidence again.
It is. It's a good number. I mean, 60 is a good number, but in this part of the world, I think the Joe Root, Ben Duckett sort of dismissals are ones where you'd go from a responsibility point of view. One of them had to see the innings through, like Russell Mendes did. Yeah, he got 91. You could easily have gotten 100, but I think the home player showed the value of the wicket, the value of having somebody in, and the value of somebody batting all the way through. He didn't chase that 100. He just basically right, I get to 50 overs, and this is what we need to get, and we'll have that big over towards the end. So I think both Duckett and Root will be disappointed that they've got out for 60. But just to put in isolation from where, let's be fair, Australia bowled well at Ben Duckett. I don't think Ben Duckett gave his wicket away hugely in Australia. I just think everybody's got an area where you're vulnerable. You're susceptible to a good ball in that area, whether you're not very good at playing the short ball, you play wide outside off stump, your hands go away from you, or you struggle with a full ball just outside off stump because your game is more suited to the square of the wicket. Australia bowled well at him, and I thought the first 20 balls, it looked as though he was out of nick, out of rhythm, off balance, and that is a good sign that he's seen that through, and he got to 60. He'll just be disappointed that he didn't kick on.
How do you find the concern against England's playing of spin bowling? Because the headlines will be they can't play spin very well, but at the time they needed to put their foot down on a wicket that we've seen with Joe, that we've seen with Ben, is incredibly hard to get in on.
The challenge is always when you come over to this part of the world where you take Joe Root out of it. We've not had many good players of spin, really good players of spin, and when you come to this part of the world, the difference is they bowl spin very well and they play spin very well. So when we look at spin bowlers and we think, right, he is a good spinner in county cricket, he is a good spinner in, possibly in white ball cricket, all of a sudden you come to this part of the world and the players play them comfortably. They play them with no problem whatsoever. I actually thought England bowled spin quite well. Rian looked as though, there was the odd delivery which was a little bit loose. I thought Dawson.
He's not played for us.
Yeah, he's not played. So and he come in last minute. So We've got to give him, and I was so excited to see him play on the same side as Adil. So Rashid bowled well, Dawson bowled well. That bodes well for further down the line, as in the T20 competition that comes. But it comes to play and spin, and we've probably only had one or two top players of spin over the last sort of couple of generations. One of them showed how great he is again today, and disappointing again how he got out. But at the end of the day, when you come over here, when you think you can play spin or you think you can bowl spin, you can't. This is a different kettle of fish altogether. So, and I think that's what England have to adapt to when it comes to game 2, game 3, and then the 3 T20s that come, because it's not going to get any easier. The toss is crucial, and if the toss goes against you, all of a sudden batting under lights late on a night where you've had 40, you're in the sort of 40 to 50th over. It's really, really difficult.
So without Root, England struggle with the bat, but without Rashid, would you say he's still England's? He's 38 next month, but you can feasibly still see him going for another couple of years at least. But post Rashid, do you worry?
No, because I look at Rian Ahmed and hope that Rian can learn from playing with Adil Rashid. He's not going to be the finished article for 4 or 5 years' time, but Adil wasn't the finished article. He found a partner in Moeen Ali, and the two of them bowled nicely together. I mean, I shed a tear a couple of nights ago when the great late Norman Gifford sadly passed away, my first coach, an unbelievable human, and we'll talk about him in fun podcasts to come. But I mean, he finished when he was 48. He's got 5 years on Jimmy Anderson, 10 years on Adil Rashid. So Giff was 48 when he played his last first-class match. So I'm sure Adil Rashid's got a few more years left in him. When he's bowling on surfaces like that, and when he can bowl like that, he's still our top class performer.
Still hope for you yet then, Harmy?
No chance.
Gift's 48, played his last game. You've not reached 48 yet.
You've just seen me getting a pair of curtains. I mean, it was. I mean, you're not going to show it's big enough, but no. I think all joking aside, he is still one of the world cricket's top performers.
We're going to get wet here. So we might get wet, but just a word on Dimuth Willalaga, because 25 off 12 balls with the bat, comes in, takes wickets with the ball, and then it's your day when you take a boundary catch like he did.
I mean, it was a brilliant all-round performance. I mean, he bowled well. He waited. He assessed the situation well with Kusal Mendes in a way that they were waiting for the last 2 overs. They knew that Curran was going to have to bowl 1, and Overton was going to have to bowl 1, and they cashed in on the very last over. So, fair play to him. I'm just concerned we're going to get wet here. Fair play to him. And the catch, I mean, that was the icing on the cake of a wonderful performance. And again, it just shows that I think they bowl better than England from a spin bowling point of view. They batted, I think, more. I don't want to use the word brains because this team's been labelled as brainless many, many times. I don't think that was brainless at all. I think that was difficult conditions, and England made the best of they could to stay in the game and give them the best chance towards the end of it. I just think in this part of the world, you've got to take responsibility when you get a chance and get in. And unfortunately, that's where England potentially come a bit short. But Willalaga, to be fair to him, he had a day out, and he fully deserved play of the match.
We've got 2 balls left. One of them goes to the ground staff behind it. The absolute hero holding down the water for us to ensure we don't get that. So that's ball number 5 of the Super Over. Ball number 6. Sri Lanka are the outsiders for the T20 World Cup, because they did this today without Hasaranga and without Veechana as well.
Honest answer, no. Okay. I don't think.
But the quality of the depth in spin bowling?
The depth of spin bowling they've got, but it's only 20 overs. And, I mean, I don't think their batting's anywhere near good enough to come up against an England. We're in England's T20 side. We're Phil Salt in there at the top, Butler higher up. I just think the balance of England's side, I don't think it's right. I really don't think it's right. We struggled. The golden generation of white ball cricket was off the back of playing far too many test players at the top of in the batting order. And that, I think, obviously Morgan's team came off the back of that. I just hope that this is not the start of that demise when it comes to England's going with the test team and the 50 over team being 5 out of the same top 6. So I think that needs to be looked at. But from a depth point of view, from Sri Lanka's bowling, that's fine. The batting, I don't think they're in the same league as India, as South Africa, as Australia, and even England. I think even England in the T20 format, I think they'll give them a bit more of a contest, especially with Butler higher up and Phil Salt in at the top.
I mean, we're about to get soaked, so we're going to wrap up this Super Over. We'll be back for another Following On Daily tomorrow. You'll hear from both Harry Brook and Sam Curran as well. But we'll be back for live and exclusive ball-by-ball commentary of the second ODI right here in Colombo on Saturday. We'll be on air at 8:30 ahead of a 9 a.m. start in the UK. Thanks for watching.